Love should deepen accountability, not remove it.
Sick and tired of hearing the same thing. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your brother. If it's hurting me like anybody else, why do I allow that?
It's not our job to make them not scorpions. It's our job to stop giving them rides.
What's the difference between helping and rescuing?
Nobody wants this discomfort, but we put up with it.
Guilt often disguises itself as kindness. What if the kindest thing you could do for someone was to say no? What if protecting someone from pain was actually protecting the very pattern that's hurting them? Today, we are exploring the uncomfortable truth that sometimes love doesn't need rescue. Sometimes love is stepping back.
Yep. All right. I'm just going to throw something out here. So if a stranger criticized your parenting every week, you'd probably give them the middle finger. No, you probably stop talking to them, right? If a stranger constantly gave you unsolicited advice, you might avoid them, likely, right? If a stranger ignored your boundaries, you'd call it disrespect, right?
Yes.
So why do we accept it when our family does it?
Culture, some people would say. Culture? Right. A lot of people tell me, Miriam, you don't understand the culture I come from. Miriam, you don't understand this is what happened. It's always been seen that way. Because I think 99.9% of the population, doesn't matter which culture you are. You are Arabic person, you are Chinese person, you are Spanish like me, American like Jordan. We are all on the same boat. Mm-hmm. Love, it's unconditional, have to do everything, have to endure everything if blood is in the mixture.
Yeah, I know. We give our loved ones a lot more rope than we give strangers. It's almost like people don't even question that they should have to feel that way. It's just part of the deal. I mean, I was watching a stand-up comedian, and he said, "I'm going to do an impression of everybody getting a phone call from their mother." And he goes,
God.
He's like, ring, 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 and he's like, "Oh, fuck." And it's like, we kind of, and I know that's terrible, and I'm not saying that's what I do when my mom calls, but we kind of set ourselves up to put ourselves in situations with our family members where, like we said in another episode, boundaries aren't created, and therefore we end up allowing people to do things that we would never allow a stranger to do to us. So what we're talking about is something that I think, everyone recognizes the second it's named. And the way love quietly becomes a free pass for criticism, for boundary violations, for behavior that would end up a friendship or a working relationship in about a week, but somehow gets a lifetime pass when it comes from our family. And the hook for today is simple. Love should deepen accountability, not remove it.
But Jordan, it's my family. It's my mom.
I know.
It's my dad. How can you do that to them?
But we want to create a new paradigm. What if we could create a new paradigm? We're living in an old paradigm where it's somehow acceptable to let our family get away with shite that we wouldn't let anybody else get away with.
But Jordan, because it's family, Jordan, so you have to suffer everything, you have to endure everything, you have to forgive everything, because
Says who?
Culture, our parents.
Culture.
The boomers generation.
Culture schmulture.
I'm sick and tired of hearing the same thing. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your brother. Sick and tired. If it's hurting me like anybody else, why do I allow that? Because he's my mom, because he's my dad, because he's my best friend, because he's my spouse, because he's my. No,
Mhm.
I'm done with that. However,
Yeah.
why was
Yeah.
I doing it for so long? Because I had a lot of guilt, Jordan. Guilt. Many people say yes, not because they want to, but because they feel guilty. But is guilty actually love? Or is it fear? Guilt often disguises itself as kindness. Oh,
Yes.
well, if I think about them, if I give them what they need, if I just shut myself, it just let them be, I'm just
Mhm.
being kind to them because they are my
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm done with that. I'm done. I'm done suffering.
Let's kind of let's create just for a moment the actual reality that we're talking about. I can just speak from my own experience. This is where the bracing for me comes in, like before certain visits or calls, there's this low level, I know what's probably going to happen. I know it's coming and I'll just get through it. And what's interesting is I've never really questioned that. It's just been the cost of admission. Now, I think I'm better at it. I think I've created certain boundaries, but in the past, like it was a family gathering of some sort. But when you go to a gathering, you're going to have a phone call and somebody, they're going to act a certain way. I think I kind of go, oh, I'm not going to be here that long. Oh, I'll make an excuse to leave. I start accommodating their behavior because I don't want a confrontation. I don't want the awkwardness. I can't get my thoughts together about it. I don't want to get into an argument. I'm voicing what in the past might be what some people listening to this are also going through. Nobody wants this discomfort, but we put up with it. We put up with it. And culture or nice, what's that getting you? How's that working out?
And I think there's a very important distinction here to make, Jordan. And when love becomes permission, what we do with love, sometimes it feels like we are helping them by being nice, by enduring, by not putting the boundaries, or rescuing them by holding their emotions because we are prioritizing how they feel to how we feel. Rescuing them so that they feel better, so that we don't have confrontation, so that we get connected, we get the bound, we get the link, we get the respect, or we get whatever because they love us and we love them. But what's the difference between helping and rescuing? Helping empowers. I help you, I empower you. Rescue, I remove the responsibility from you. I'm rescuing you. So how do you know which one you're doing?
Hmm.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Helping someone that you love.
Yeah.
Have they asked for your help? Did they
No,
ask for your
not often.
advice?
Oftentimes not.
So
Well,
when you're
yeah.
helping, do you know you're helping? Or are you rescuing them without they even wanted to? They didn't even ask you.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the answer what's your answer?
The helping is when you are supporting them to grow.
How do you know when you're doing it compared to the other?
Right. Did they ask?
Oh, that's
Or
it.
was
Or
it
was it set
you?
up as an agreement that I'm gonna give you feedback now?
Correct.
Right.
So if I say, I love you a lot, but I am going to tell you, you've got to change this, you've got to do that, you have to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
did you ask? Oh, wait, I'm going to do it for you. I will tell you what you need to do. I will do it
Right.
for you. So
Got it.
turn the light off because you need to
Yep.
go to sleep. I will turn the light off for you. But you
Yep.
didn't
Right.
ask. Maybe
Yep.
you weren't even ready. I'm rescuing you, meaning
Yes.
I'm saving you.
You're not
But
letting them do it for themselves.
that's right.
Yeah. Does your husband have a hard time turning off lights? um, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the help is where you can open up a dialogue, ideally, and come from a place of love and affinity that says, "Hey, listen, I'd love to have a conversation with you about this. And might be awkward. This might be an uncomfortable conversation, but understand that from my perspective, I want this relationship and this conversation to have love and affinity in it. It may be uncomfortable, maybe a little bit sloppy, but are you open to that?"
Right. And
And if you can
also,
set that up that way, you might be surprised by their response.
Right. And if you let them without they asking you, they get to experience the consequences by themselves.
Mhm.
But if you rescue them, what are you doing? They're
You're
not
taking it away
learning.
from them. You're taking it away from them. Yeah.
So if we constantly remove the consequences, let's talk about our children, Jordan, because we love them so much.
Yeah, of
If
course.
we constantly remove all the consequences, when
Yep.
does learning happen?
No, I know. Well, I'm literally, like you said, I'm right in the thick of it. We're both in the thick of it. You're with a 3-year-old and I'm with 18 and 21-year-olds. It's kind of the same. You want them to learn discomfort. You want them to learn problem solving. If you take that away from them, they'll never learn to solve anything or make decisions for themselves. You know what I mean? So yes, it has to be a little bit uncomfortable at first. I think I've said this many, many times. You know, the analogy about the butterfly and the chrysalis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the chrysalis is shaking and falls down. The man comes up and he thinks that the butterfly is having a hard time getting out. So he slices the chrysalis open a little bit and the butterfly kind of flops out, falls on it, and then tries to fly, but it can't, evidently. If you slice open the chrysalis, giving the butterfly ease of getting out, you're actually removing the struggle. You're removing the discomfort from them growing. And in fact, when they're struggling, that butterfly, that struggle creates the blood coursing through the butterfly's wings, allowing them to fly. You take that from them, you take their ability to fly. So I know I'm totally butchering that analogy, but I think you get the point.
Very much get the point. Something to add to that is that sometimes that man that cut the chrysalis, they were trying to save it, right? They were trying
Yeah,
to
right.
protect them.
They think they're helping. That's where it gets tricky. They think they're helping the chrysalis. But it's really that perspective that we're talking about, which is what's hard, the control that parents or humans want to impose on others is a whole other conversation. We've talked about that in other episodes as well. That control mechanism, which is essentially, I'm controlling it because I'm afraid. I'm controlling because I don't want the circumstances to be uncomfortable for you, but also I don't want them to be uncomfortable for me.
Yes. And protecting someone from consequences can protect them from the very pattern that's hurting them.
Yeah,
Think about that because
for
they are
sure.
not ready. They haven't asked for you to love them so much that you're protecting them.
Mhm.
They haven't asked. So what you're doing is you're protecting the pattern that's hurting them.
It's almost like you're keeping it in place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
Unconsciously, because nobody's consciously trying to hurt. Like, for example, the man's not trying to hurt the butterfly. I'm not trying to hurt my child by giving him money because he doesn't have a job, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like I'm thinking, oh, he needs money. I'm going to give him money. Therefore, he doesn't get to learn. It's necessary to support yourself. It's necessary
mm,
to go out there and have a dialogue, have a job interview, be
yeah,
uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So anyway, I think we're saying the same thing.
Yes. And in my case, with my close people situation, where I put the boundaries and I had to take some distance because we know that growth sometimes creates distance. I do no longer have the need to be understood. Therefore, I am putting those boundaries and maintaining them. I've gone over the feeling guilt thing. Oh my God, I am being rude. Oh, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? But I've realized compassion, self-compassion, Jordan.
Yeah.
And you know what I also realized? That having the compassions for them in that, oh, they don't mean it. They don't see what I see. They love
Yeah.
me. I know they love me. Realizing that compassion for them doesn't require my own self-sacrifice.
Yeah, I think the pattern I'm hearing a lot in our episodes is really about self-awareness, self-care, self-confidence, self-esteem. We fail oftentimes to really take ourselves into account because God forbid that's selfish. You can't think about yourself. You got to think about others. and it's so backwards. But again, speaking of culture, you know, we are cultured, we are programmed to avoid discomfort, to not take care of ourselves. I mean, to suggest to somebody, oh, you should have a self care regimen, you should have a self care ritual, take care of yourself. I don't have time to do that. I have to take care of my kids. I have to take care of my husband. I have to take care of my wife. I have to take care of my job. Everything else becomes the priority. And it's, I guess let's just say this, we're challenging that. And I know we're not new to this. I mean, this is a conversation I think it's going on a lot right now in this space. Um, if you're hearing this for the first time, or if this is like uncomfortable or awkward, great. That means that you're growing, or you're at least kind of stretching.
And talking about love in particular, and the boundaries that we put in beloved people,
Yeah.
in our loved ones. Many, many, many people think that they can't do it, that boundaries would mean pushing them away, potentially breaking relationships, world war, catastrophe. But let me tell you this, perhaps boundaries, setting them up, maintaining them, and being clear are what allow relationships to survive. Because you're stopping them to keep hurting you. You're stopping that thing that's happening to
Yep.
keep draining the energy, keep debating, keep arguing, keep justifying hours and hours. When you put that boundary, no more pain going on here. You're hurting me. Don't do it again. If you do it
Yeah.
again, I'm out. I
Yeah.
don't need you to love me the way you're saying you love me. Remember the other episode about love isn't capacity. So what
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
saying is perhaps boundaries are actually what allow relationships to survive.
I think it allows them to grow. Another way of putting it, but I think there's growth in it, because if we just keep on doing it the same way, it's not sustainable. I don't find, especially if you're being abused on some level, or letting yourself feel less than or smaller than. I mean, I kind of think about the analogy with the scorpion and the frog. The scorpion and the frog are on the riverbank, and the scorpion says, "Hey, I can't get across the river. Can I get a ride?" And the frog's like, "Yeah, but dude, you're a scorpion. You're gonna sting me." And he's like, "No, no, no. All I need is a ride across the river, and I'll be fine." And frog, being a good dude, says, "Hop on." Goes across. What do you know? Halfway across, scorpion stings him. Frog goes down. He's like, "Why did you do that?" He's like, "It's what I do. I'm a scorpion." And so the question becomes, there are people in our lives who are scorpions. There are people in our lives who are snakes. And we keep on petting them thinking they're going to change, that they're going to just suddenly not be themselves. It's not our job to make them not scorpions. It's our job to stop giving them rides. That's the opportunity. But we think, oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to be. So I'll just be small. I'll accommodate them. I'll hope they wake up one day. And oftentimes they don't. So then it's up to us to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. And have you ever confused that guilt that we're talking about
Yeah.
with love?
Have I ever confused guilt with love? Well, yeah, I think it gets murky. I think that's an excuse. Again, it's just, again, we give people a free pass because we feel bad, because we feel guilty, because we don't want discomfort, because we don't want confrontation. So yeah, it can be masquerade as love.
Yes. And what I mentioned earlier about realizing that compassion and love for other people doesn't need to be self-sacrifice. Love isn't measured by how much you sacrifice. Love is measured by whether both people can remain whole. Because compassion doesn't require self-abandonment, self-sacrifice. It just sometimes requires a very simple, loving word. No. Love and permission. If I ask you, great, you're going to do it. You're going to help me. You're going to tell me. You're going to love me. But if I say no, don't keep trying. Don't keep doing it. Don't
Right.
sacrifice
Yeah.
yourself.
That's the thing. There have been times in my life in the past, not the case anymore because I created boundaries, but I kept on literally banging my head against the wall repeatedly and like hoping that they would open the door, right? And then being frustrated when my head hurt. And I kept doing it because I had some sort of hope or belief that something would change or they would get it. And what was happening was I was trying to protect myself, my family, but I was sacrificing myself. And fortunately, I finally, with some support and surrendering my stubbornness, because that's part of it. It's like, it just gets stubborn. You just got to dig in your heels. Like, it's going to work. I'm going to fix this. It's going to happen. And here's the problem. I didn't really do anything or say anything. I just kept on thinking it was just going to happen. It was just going to magically change. It doesn't magically change.
But you love that person so much. But did they give you permission to love them that much, to do all of that?
Exactly. That's a big piece of it too. They're not even in the same realm of the discussion that you are. And so you're not even speaking to a person in the same space, which is why it's maddening. So yes, that's a big one. That's a good reminder too. Sometimes they don't care and you want them to care because you care and you think everyone else should care. And that's not even fair. I can't make someone think and believe the way and act the way I want them to believe and act because that's the way I do.
Because you love them so much, Jordan. And
Yeah.
you want to give them everything, including you don't want to feel guilty. You don't want them to do mistakes. You want them to change, to grow, to learn, to do things. You want to rescue them.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you're talking about, I think you're talking more about like my son or my child, for example. I'm talking about humans in the world.
Yes.
I'm talking about humans in the world who might be family members also, who are close to me, but it really just kind of comes down to like, oh, I just want them to get it. Why don't they get it? Why don't they figure it out? Because I want everyone to get along and, kumbaya. And sometimes that's just not what's going to happen. Just because we're related doesn't mean we're all going to get along. And things aren't going to go the way I want them to go. So, but again, it kind of comes back to like we're saying, oh, well, it's our family and that's our culture. And it's like, again, love as permission. Permission to what? Permission to hang ourselves? Permission to feel less than? Permission to feel awkward? Yeah, we're sacrificing ourselves. Next time you're bracing before seeing someone, just notice it. Just noticing it can be a huge first step. Don't do anything yet. Just notice that the bracing is there.
Oh, that is a big thing. Now you notice that maybe love isn't proven by how much of yourself you give away, you sacrifice, you protect, you help, you rescue. Maybe love is proven by how much truth the relationship can hold. And because the strongest relationships aren't built on endless yeses. They're built on honesty, on responsibility, and boundaries that allow both to grow.
Love explains behavior, but it doesn't give behavior permission. And the moment that you stop confusing those two things, your relationship starts looking very different, I think.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love, and I have already loved, hearing people saying that with our conversations, something clicked. Something clicked.
With our podcast.
With our podcast, yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember what I said at the beginning in our first episode? I think it was episode 0, before you know this. I said, listen, if someone can just do, ooh, Maybe there is
Oh,
something that I can look at here. Maybe I can spend some time
yeah.
having a look. So what I would recommend, if you like the podcast, try to watch it with your spouse or with a family member, and then ask, reflect on it. Ask a question, have a debate. What do you think? Because it's actually going to help both of you to grow.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, actually, I brought up these 2 topics to my wife because I thought, "You know what? I'm gonna share this with you because I feel like nothing is popping up when it comes, like, oh, whether it's boundaries or whether it's love is permission," and I'm open to the fact that I have blind spots because we all do, right? And I love finding my blind spots because I feel there's knowledge there, there's data there, there's new information there, right? And so I talked with her about them and it opened up a great conversation. It wasn't even that we were listening to the podcast. We were just discussing the topic. So it's a great way to just open and create a new dialogue that isn't, "Oh, how's the weather? What are the kids doing?"
That's right.
It's, like, "What's for dinner?" That kind of thing. Just shake it up. And then, like, what behavior are you tolerating purely because the person loves you? What
My
behavior
God.
are you tolerating purely because the person loves you? The person, any person. And ask yourself that
Yes.
question this week and see what comes up. Share it with us.
Yes. And remember, understanding is a gift, not a requirement. And love doesn't need that they understand everything. And it does require a permission. Permission for you to love me in the way you're loving me. Permission for you to help me, not to rescue me. Jordan, thank you very much. I hope everybody enjoyed and someone clicked a little bit and changed
What?
something. Take care, everybody. And bye-bye.
Bye.